Hey everyone, welcome back to Masonzero MTG. Today I'm going to talk about 5 cards from Murders at Karlov Manor that I think are worth considering for your Pauper cube. I know I'll be testing these and I think you should too. If you like this video and want to see more like it, feel free to subscribe to Masonzero MTG. I'm nearly at 500 subscribers and I'm trying to push to 1,000 this year, and I think that'd be really cool if you were subbed. My first card here is an honorable mention, which is Novice Inspector. It's pretty much just another Thraben Inspector, so if you've always wanted to run 2 of those in your queue but were worried about the singleton rule, now you don't have to worry. But this is an honorable mention since the card kind of already exists. Escape Tunnel doesn't need much of an argument in its favor. It's Evolving Wilds or Terramorphic Expanse with an additional ability. You can replace either of those cards with Escape Tunnel or add it in as another fetch. The ability itself is decent, letting a small creature become unblockable if you choose to sacrifice the land. It's not the best thing in the world, but it also doesn't have to be. Just that additional flexibility is nice to see and makes this strictly better. Bane Orangutan works best in a cube with a lot of artifacts. When it enters the battlefield, you can destroy an artifact or sacrifice an artifact to put +1/+1 counters on the ape. Plus, it has reach, which does exist in red, but is not the most common. Yavimaya Steel Crusher, funny enough also an ape, is probably the current red answer for artifacts that people would run, and I think you could make an argument for either as they both have their merits. But I would consider Bane to be ever so slightly better thanks to the option of just being aggressive if you want to. Another comparison is Plundering Barbarian, which can also create a treasure token in addition to destroying an artifact, and that's not nothing. But you do have 3 great options, all at around the same mana cost for destroying an artifact, so that's always good. You can pick and choose. Galvanize is a creature-only burn spell which automatically reduces its appeal since it can't hit face. But what is appealing is that if you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, it deals 5 damage to that creature, which is enough to kill pretty much anything. The immediate comparisons are the trio of instant speed 3 damage spells that cost 2 mana, and then Flame Slash, which deals 4 to a creature for just 1 mana. I think Galvanize is sort of an instant speed version of Flame Slash, which would probably be done by making it just cost 2 mana. But instead of always dealing 4 damage, you could deal 3 or you could deal 5. How good this card is may depend on how much card draw you have and how likely it is to be able to draw a second card on any given turn. But it could also be interesting to include if you do run all of Incinerate, Lightning Strike, and Searing Spear and want one of those cards to be replaced with something a little more interesting. But first, I want to thank LDB Duel for sending me this awesome deck box. They make custom deck boxes, playmats, and more, but what makes them stand out from the competition to me is that they actually employ a graphic designer that can work with you to create your own custom art for your card game accessories. But they also have a lot of pre-made options, like this one that I asked for, with the stained glass mana symbols from Dominaria United. The art printing is high quality both in terms of resolution and color. The deck box itself is a really cool design, where this magnetic cover comes off to reveal 2 removable boxes, one for your deck and another where you can put dice, tokens, or whatever. The build quality seems great, and I'll definitely be using this when I go out to play Commander. You can use my link, which is on screen or in the description, to get 10% off your first order from LDB Duel, and that's going to be ldbduel.com/discount/Masonzero10. Or you can use Masonzero5 to get 5% off any subsequent orders. And if you do use these codes, I'll get a little bit of a kickback for it, so I appreciate that. And I definitely recommend checking them out if you're in the market for a deck box like this, or a playmat, or something like that. Now, back to the video. Snarling Gore Hound is a 1/1 with Menace for 1, which can maybe get some damage in early, but the real draw to it is that whenever a creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you can surveil 1. Getting this kind of card filtering early on can of course be very powerful, especially in some sort of black-white or black-red aggro deck, where playing the perfect card on curve every turn can guarantee you a win. It plays double duty though, and is good in a graveyard deck as well, filling up your graveyard over the course of several turns, and maybe setting you up for Unearth or Gurmag Angler. All of the common disguise cards that are multicolored are pretty reasonable. Dogwalker is probably one of the more desirable ones because when it's turned face up, you create 2 tapped 1/1 tokens. It itself is a 3/1 with Vigilance for just 2 mana, so it's a pretty reasonable aggro card even if you choose not to disguise it. Vigilance on such an aggressive card may seem a little odd, but it does trade up pretty well, so I can see blocking with this once you're through with it. If you disguise it, you get 5 power for 5 mana, which is pretty nice. But what I like about the disguise cards in this entire multicolored cycle is that their hybrid disguise costs enable them to be played as monocolored cards. Dogwalker can exist in a white or red deck that lacks the other color. You just have to be sure to disguise it. That's a nice piece of flexibility that these cards bring to the table. So those are 5 cards I'm considering for Pauper Cube. Let me know in the comments if you have other cards under consideration, as I think the power level of commons in this set is pretty high, and there are many fun effects to choose from. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, consider liking it, and leave a comment. I will see you in the next one.